We're live everywhere, I think. I think we're good. Why does it still say Dead Space? That's so weird that it still says Dead Space. It's so weird. Oh, why is it doing that? That's so weird. I did it again, 2.1. 1.2, gaming, Minecraft. So so it looks like Restream has two different places to update your stream in, and in both of them, like I can update them individually, and then there's a section that I can update both of them at once, but like the one that updates both of them at once does not match with the one that's individual. If I do it individual, it's weird. But it seems like we're good. Seems like we're live. Am I live on YouTube? Yes, I am. Okay, am I live on the TikToks? Yes, I am. Okay, cool. So anyways, that's I was gonna do the VR update, but then there was you know, it was gonna take up time, and I don't have the time right now. Just because I was when you do mods, if you don't really deal with them very often, they can be kind of hard. And I am not. Hello, Hyper. How you doing? Welcome. How are things? If you don't deal with mods very often, it can be kind of complicated, and I am not a big modder, so I definitely struggle when it comes to getting mods to work properly. So I decided that I'm not going to do 7 Days to Die today, because I want to take a minute to actually work on the VR mod, because I think it would be way more fun for me to try to figure out how to play 7 Days to Die in VR. Especially as Miguel. So I'm gonna plan for that right now, and we'll see what happens. I can't make any promises that it's gonna be a smooth process, but we're gonna see how it goes. But I decided tonight, or today, we'll just play some Minecraft just to keep it easy. I definitely want to check out what's going on in 2.1. I was watching Mumbo Jumbo, and I forgot that you could do the brushes with suspicious sand and whatever. So I want to go. Is this suspicious? He kept going. He kept switching between suspicious and sustainable. I don't know. I think sustainable is an inside joke. I think it's suspicious sand. I want to check out some stuff like that. I saw that he was able to pick up some of the blueprints for like designing his armor with that. So I want to try that and see what happens. Obviously, we still need to go to a bastion and find one of the templates to actually upgrade our armor. But we'll see how it goes today. But that's the plan. Brian, how's it going? How are you today? I hope you're doing well. Hyper, for some reason my chat is frozen. Is it frozen? I don't know. I swear that I saw you type out that today was your first day doing security, but it's not in my chat box anywhere. But I swear I saw it. And I don't know how, but if you did say that, hopefully it goes smoothly. If you didn't say that, I'm just making stuff up and going crazy, maybe. The weather is beautiful. We have an issue at my place with our air conditioner. It's really weird. It works if we turn it off for like a day, and then we turn it on and then it works. So like yesterday, this house was a sauna the whole day. We had all the windows open, we had all the ceiling fans on, we had all the regular fans on, like just trying to get the house to be somewhat cool. And it was okay for most of the day. I went outside and I like mowed the lawn and stuff, so when I got inside I was dying from how hot it was, and there was no relief in sight. I called my landlord. He said he's gonna take a look at it when he can, but then we turned it off and it was off all night, all evening and all night, and then this morning Alana turned it on and now it's working again. But it only works for a few hours and then it dies again. So I'm probably gonna have to shut it off again later today. But it's really frustrating. And at first I thought it was that the air conditioning was freezing. But the thing is, sometimes it just doesn't work at all. So like yesterday, the day before yesterday, it was off all day. And then yesterday we turned it on and it just wasn't working. So it didn't work at all yesterday. And then we turned it off and today we turned it on and now it's working again. So like it's really weird. But our fan is also making a really loud noise. Our landlord is pretty cheap, as are a lot of landlords, so he doesn't want to pay a professional to come look at it. I called him about it when it started making noise initially, and it was shooting cold air, but it wasn't with any like pressure. You could just feel like if you touched the vent it was really cold, but no air was actually coming out. And he showed up and just hit it with a hammer a bunch of times, and that was his solution. So that's how he is with everything. Over the winter last year, not last year, but this winter that just passed, the upstairs people, their heater stopped working. We were here, and then all of a sudden it started making loud noise. I was in the middle of recording a video, actually, and I started hearing this really loud grinding noise, and I thought it was outside because the people across the street had redone their driveway, and I thought it was that they were working on their driveway, something had gone wrong. So I was getting really, really pissed off because I was like, God damn it, like I'm trying to record and these guys are making all this noise right now, and like I can't. And it was when I was not as burnt out as I am, so I was really adamant that I needed to get the recording done. And then I look outside and there's nobody. It's peaceful outside. And then I put my head, like I'm starting to like listen to where the sound's coming from, and it was the basement. The fan, so it sounded like, I don't know, it sounded like the actual like the part that connects to the motor for the fan, like the axle or whatever, had snapped, so it was spinning and the fan was just like shaking like loosely. He spent over a month trying to fix it himself. But like if you guys know anything about HVAC isn't like HVAC and heating and all that isn't very simple. Like it's not something that you just hit with a hammer and you fix it, or that like you could take apart and fix it yourself. Like it's not an easy thing. And he's not a handyman. Like I think his wife, when we met him, said he was like some kind of software engineer. So he's not a handyman. Anytime we've asked him to repair things, it's always like the most Mickey Mouse duct tape and bubblegum type of fix ever. He spent over a month trying to fix it himself. He brought one of his friends over, and oh my god, was it ever a nightmare, because I have a feeling my landlord is slightly hard of hearing, so he talks very loudly. And then he brought his friend over, and he also spoke very loudly, and they were speaking in Chinese, so I couldn't, I'm sorry, Cantonese, Mandarin, I'm not sure. But he was being very, very loud with his speaking, and the thing is that the air conditioning is literally, and the heater is literally right where I sleep. And so they were super loud, and they always show up at like 11 o'clock at night. So it was like, it was so frustrating to try to get them to shut up, because like I'm up at night, but like my daughter's sleeping and stuff. It was really frustrating. It took them a month to finally give in and call the people that actually handle this stuff, and then they fixed it in the span of an hour. They had to replace the whole unit. The unit was broken. There was nothing you could do. When the fan broke, the fan broke. You can't just fix the fan with some tape. You have to buy a whole unit. And now my air conditioner is making the same noise. It's not making it as loudly right now. It just sounds like it's loose and rattling. But like right now I can feel the cool air actually in the room. But half the time it just doesn't blow any air at all. So it's gonna be a nightmare to try to get my landlord to fix it, especially because he's trying to get me kicked out. But because I haven't done anything wrong, and because I have paid on time and I've never been a problem, he doesn't really have any leg to stand on to kick me out, but he doesn't want to spend the money. So it's probably gonna be a nightmare to get him to fix the air conditioning. But yeah, it's beautiful outside. It's my really long way of saying it's beautiful outside. It's just, it really sucks when the air conditioner dies. Ralph, hello. Hola, ¿cómo estás? How are you? Yeah, when in doubt, beat it up. The guy's still stuck in the 90s with the old TVs. You smack them on the side and they work. Sam Lee, hello. Welcome. Let me hear. Let me listen. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I want to see. If I'm talking while the music is on, what does it sound like? Yeah. Okay. It's always hard to tell. Hold on, not this one. I think it's this one. Okay, that should be better. Yeah, it was like a hair too loud. It's hard to tell because what I hear in my ears is very different from what you hear in your ears, but it's also just hard to tell how much my voice stands out versus it, because according to all the levels, my voice was far louder than the music. You could still hear me perfectly fine. It was just, it was a little bit muddy, so I get it. Thank you so much. Anyways, yeah, so we're gonna do some Minecraft today. What I was saying at the very beginning, which I said before a bunch of people showed up, I am going to be doing more 7 Days to Die. I'm not doing it today because last night while I was at work, where's my Twitch? Okay, Merle, hello. Why am I'm not seeing any of my chats. What's going on here? It's only connected. Whoa, weird. My restream is only connected to YouTube, not Twitch. Okay, that's why I'm not seeing any chat. I am so sorry. Hello, everybody. Merle, we win. hyper. I like to think of myself a little more intelligent than that when it comes to fixing things. Yeah, he's the problem with my landlord is he's cheap. That's all it is. It has nothing to do really with him not being smart, because obviously he's smart. He's some kind of engineer. He's a smart guy. He's just very, very, very cheap. He's one of those people. I don't. Well, obviously you guys don't live in Canada. Most of you don't live in Canada. That is really weird. Only YouTube is showing up on my restream. Why is only YouTube showing up? That is really weird. Okay, is my restream website showing both? It is. No, that's Twitch. It's showing YouTube. That's showing Twitch. Is chat working? No, chat is on. Wow, did Twitch turn off the chat function? I think Twitch turned off the chat function for restream. Well, that's BS. Okay, I now have to have 3 chat windows open. This is stupid. I hate Twitch. Twitch moderators, if you're watching this, stop being shitty. Stop being shitty and greedy. I get it, Amazon's probably like holding a gun to your head and forcing you to be this way, but like, stop it. Seriously. Seriously. I don't make any money. Stop trying to steal the little bit that I do make. Jesus Christ. Man. Okay, so I think he's just cheap, my landlord. There's a Canadian guy who talks about the real estate market and how Canada is one of the worst real estate markets on the planet, and how we're pretty much screwed. There's nothing we can do. Either the government has to step in and take everybody's money, because they'll have to find a way to reduce the value of everybody's home so then all homes can be cheap, or they have to pretty much destroy our economy and restart from scratch, which is options that they will not take no matter what. And so a lot of people have jumped into the real estate market because it's the only way to really have any kind of money in Canada. And so what's happening is people are getting very greedy, obviously, because you do have people that are the average person who, we're going to start in just a second, who are the average person who aren't trying to be greedy. They're just trying to make a living, right? They're just trying to like survive, which is what most of us are trying to do. But like it is with everything, most people are trying to be decent people, but you always have a large enough group trying to be greedy or toxic or garbage, that they ruin it for everybody. And so what's happening is you have a lot of people who are getting into real estate who don't actually understand what's going on in real estate. And they get themselves into trouble. And that's what I think has happened to my landlord. Oh, I have my audio on. That's why I can hear something every time I talk, and I don't know why. My audio was on, sorry. And so I believe he jumped into the real estate market without realizing how much money you actually need. Like, I think he saw, oh, if my mortgage is X, and then I rent it out for that much, then I don't have to worry about anything. But he didn't take into consideration all the maintenance that comes along with being a landlord. You know, and so like, even though he might be making money doing what he's doing, I don't think he actually has any free flow cash that he can use to repair the house to kind of keep it going, because like you're gonna see it when I change everything around. Maybe I have like a whole section of my house that's like the 1980s wood paneling on the walls, you know, the really ugly wood paneling that was really famous for us that are in our 30s and 40s, that were famous in basements when we were kids. My living room is that. I have wall sockets that are still just the 2-prong. They don't have the ground, and they're completely loose and broken, and I don't have access to the switch box, like the fuse box or whatever, so I can't change them out or anything. I can't do anything about them. The front yard, we have a tiny deck in the front, and it's got like the cross thin pieces of wood that like cover it up, and it's all falling apart. He's never come to fix it. I think he's just in way over his head. He's also, we've been living here now 4 years almost. Actually, it's 4 years now. We moved in on the 15th. Yeah, happy 4-year anniversary to me. I've been living here for 4 years. And in the 4 years, he's only rented out the place upstairs for 2 years. So he's had it empty for 2 years. I don't think he ever considered that he wouldn't be able to rent out a place. So I think he's in over his head. So everything that he can save money on, he tries to. When we moved in, he had redone the flooring in the kitchen. Within 6 months of us living here, the wood started to, not wood, it's that plastic slide-in flooring. It started to snap open. And so like my daughter cut her foot a couple of times. We called him about it, and he called his friend who literally just put wood glue on it. That's all he did. He didn't like replace the pieces that are broken. He just put wood glue on top of it so it would harden. He's very cheap. I don't think that it has anything to do with his intelligence. I think he's just cheap. And even though he knows he can't fix something, he's going to do it himself instead of paying somebody to do it properly. Now, the only reason I don't fight with him is because the landlord-tenant board is very biased here in Ontario, especially towards the landlord. And so if I try to put in a complaint, it's going to be like a 1.5 year wait time before I even get seen. And in that case, he's going to start becoming bitter towards me. So right now I'm just kind of biting my tongue and just like dealing with it because nothing is severe. I've lived in places where like they shut our heat off in October, and we had no heat for the whole winter. And if you've never been to Canada, like you can get to like -40 here. And -40 with no heat is one thing, but it was -40 with no heat and they had gutted the apartment downstairs. To the point where like there was no insulation. It was literally just brick wall. So the downstairs was just as cold as the outside, which in turn leaked into our apartment, which made it just as cold as it was outside. I've lived in some pretty bad places. We had a drug dealer that was doing the renovation downstairs and he stole my daughter's bike, Alana's bike. He stole a bunch of stuff from our backyard. When we called the landlord, he just said he fired him and that was it. No, sorry guys, I hired him. I'll pay you back for the stuff he stole. None of that. And then he rented the place upstairs to another set of drug dealers who started threatening me. So it was not a good situation. So this to me is peaceful. I'd rather deal with a crappy situation than to deal with what I dealt with. So I'm just kind of biting my tongue. But I think my landlord, I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's just in way over his head. And now, unfortunately, he's going through a divorce. But I have no pity for him because so am I. But he's loaded enough that he has this house that if anything happens, he could just move in here if he needs to. I've got nowhere to go if my life falls apart. So I don't have pity for him when he tries to give me that as I feel bad for me because I'm going through a divorce. Cool, bro. So am I, you know, and you've got no kids. I do. So like, I don't feel so bad for you, dude. But yeah, that's kind of where we are. It's kind of annoying. Brian, you got 7 Days to Die free from Xbox Game Pass. Have you started it yet? Merle, we have the same issue and they made law capping rent price. Yeah, see, and we had that in Ontario. It wasn't a cap. It was like there was a limit on how much they could raise our rent every year. And it was something like, I think it was 4% every year is what they could raise our rent. And then our government, we had this moron put in place. And a big part of the issue with him is, one, he's a wealthy man, but he's not like an insanely rich man. But he's one of these rich men or wealthy men who wishes he was a rich man. So he tries to like suck up to all the billionaires and stuff in our area. So he's doing everything he can to help them, whether it's illegal or not. And the thing is, he's not very smart. Like, for my American friends, everybody is mocking Trump for being stupid at getting away with crime. But like, this guy is even dumber than Trump. When it comes, and I'm not talking political affiliations. It's just plain facts. Trump is not an intelligent man. But Ford is like even stupider than him. Trump is like a cartoon character. Ford is like a real person, but he's dumber than Trump is. He's just in a smaller platform, so he's not as ridiculed as Trump is. But like this Ford guy's an idiot. He does a bunch of illegal stuff. Everybody knows he's doing a bunch of illegal stuff, and he's getting away with it because he's got all the power. And so when he stepped in, he removed rent caps. And to kind of lie to everybody to keep them happy, he said that, well, if a house was... Okay, now this is where I don't know the law. It's either when it was built or when the rent started in 2018. Anything after that, there is no rent cap. Anything before that, there is rent cap. But like landlords are stepping in and just being like, okay, $1,000 more a month for rent, like out of nowhere. And not anybody can just afford $1,000 a month extra on their rent, right? And so like he's just come in and just kind of given them free reign to do whatever the hell they want, which is really, really frustrating because it's not a good way to treat your people. You know what I mean? And in the end, landlords, especially bigger landlords, they're going to do whatever the hell they want, and they're going to get away with it, and they're not going to care, right? Right now, what's happening is a lot of the little landlords are doing it because the little landlords are desperate because a lot of them got into the market thinking, oh, it's hot, I'm going to get rich, and not knowing what they're getting into, so they're stuck. And so like it's really frustrating. Whereas like a bigger business, at least they have, you know, investors and stuff. So right now they're still being somewhat decent because they know that if they screw people over too much, then they'll lose everything. Smaller landlords, they don't have anybody to answer to, so they can just do whatever the hell they want, and it's scary. It's really, really scary. Okay. Oh man. You used to play 7 days all the time? Nice. Yeah, we would. But yes, so I'm having issues for some reason. I don't know what is going on that... Oh, now Twitch is... What? Okay, so it's an internal error at Twitch that is happening for the chat. It just showed up on my screen saying that that Twitch is visible, but it's saying there's an internal error. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. I have no clue what is going on. It's just telling me that it's an error. I don't know. I give up. I'm not even going to bother trying anymore. I'm just going to have Twitch open just in case, and all 3 windows open just in case. The Dark, hello. Nice to see you. Welcome. Nice, we went nice. 2 months to get rid of a creep who lived next to me. Oh, nice, Merle. Yeah, that's the thing that that's what tells me that my landlord is in way over his head. Oh, we did find that one bastion that we were exploring. He doesn't know the laws, and it's hard for me because there's a language barrier. He's been here for a while. He speaks English like fluently, but his accent is thick enough that there's a lot of misunderstandings in what I'm saying to him. And it's hard for me to fully grasp what he's trying to get across or if he's understanding what I'm saying. But he doesn't know the laws. Like, we were having an issue with the people upstairs. And the issue was that she was a Karen. Like, through and through, she was a Karen. She decided it was a really intelligent idea to get a second dog when they were already having problems with their first dog. And her excuse was, well, the second dog is going to help the first dog. Except that's not what happened. The first dog just got worse. But the second dog was impossible to deal with. And so the dogs would bark all day long. And instead of like trying to deal with what was going on, or maybe looking into, you know, getting the dog some training, or even getting rid of the dog, the new dog, because it was the new dog that was louder than the old dog. The old dog was old. So the old dog would bark once in a while, but I guess the problem was more that the dog was ripping stuff up in their apartment, but the new dog spent all day barking. And so her first response was to lock the dog away. That made it worse. Then her second response was just to turn on music and turn it on loudly. Because in her stupid brain, if she couldn't hear the dog, then neither could we. So then we had to deal with loud music and a howling dog. And so we called the landlord to complain about it, and the landlord spoke to them, and it didn't do anything. They didn't fix anything. They didn't try. And so after they moved out, he was talking to me, and he's like, well, you know, there's nothing I can do if they're being loud. Like, I can talk to them, but if they don't listen, he's like, but they were paying my rent on time, so there was nothing I could do. And it's like, dude, you don't even know the basics of being a landlord, because legally you have to shut them up. And if they don't, you tell them to get rid of the dog because it's causing a disturbance to the neighbors. And if they don't, then you go to the landlord tenant board and you evict them. Because I have been paying on time and I am not the problem. They need to go. And he didn't even know the basics of that. So like, my landlord has no idea what he's doing. So he shouldn't be a landlord. But it is what it is. Oh, we got the really loud music again. Okay. So I have to find a bastion. I mean, I have to find the treasure in this bastion without the brute killing me, which he probably will. I just remembered. I turned on ray tracing. I used a mod pack and turned on ray tracing, but it seems like all it's done was just added a bit of reflection. It didn't actually... It doesn't seem like it's turned on ray tracing at all. So it seems like it was not a very good mod pack that I got. That's kind of disappointing. The gallows with you. Oh, nice. We win. Good luck. Good luck, Weewin. Good luck. See, can you see the reflections? Reflections, but no, the lighting is not there. It's just reflections. Okay, now where? Whoa, crap! What was that? Oh, you jerk! Oh, I thought you were a friggin' brute. Jerk. Dramatic music activated. Miguel is not here. Miguel does not like it when there's epic music, but he is not in an adventure. So I was saying this at the very beginning. I've said it a couple times now, but I'm going to keep repeating myself. There is a VR mod that was just released. I just got the notification last night for 7 Days to Die, and I am going to be installing it, and I'm going to try my best to get it to work for the stream. I was planning to do it today, but I got stuck at work a lot later than was expected. They've been working on cleaning up certain areas. I have a feeling they got a new manager in the one department, and so they've been working on doing deep cleans in certain areas, and they were in my way yesterday. So they set me behind by like an hour, because they told me they were only going to be there like an extra 40 minutes. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll just do a little bit of extra on my side so I can have the freedom to work properly once you're... oh my god, there's so many of these pigs! Dudes, get out of here. And then I ended up leaving before them because they just took forever to do their job. So they set me behind. So by the time I got home, it was already way too late for me to start fiddling around with a mod pack. And mod packs can be a nightmare to work on when you're dealing with VR because of settings and because of like different compatibility things and whatever. And so I decided that it was a good idea to just put it off for now. And so my plan is to actually modify 7 Days to Die and do a stream in VR, because I really want to keep playing the game, but I want to do it in VR because I just think it would be that much funnier to have Miguel be in VR as he tries to defeat the zombies and survive all day. It could just be the ray tracing. Yeah, the ray tracing I've done before actually made the Nether almost impossible to see in. Because ooh, golden apple. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Sorry, I've been watching Family Guy. It's kind of in my head right now. Anyways, when I've done the ray tracing mod, it tends to make... No, there is lighting. Yeah, I can see it. It's just a really, really lightened version of ray tracing. This is really weird. Anyways, it tends to make everything really shiny, but then in turn makes everything else really, really dark. So it ends up making the Nether very hard to see in. Like, it's really, really hard to see in the Nether with ray tracing on, at least the ray tracing I've used. So we'll see once we get back to the regular locations. Although I don't remember how to actually get to the... Oh, that's what happened, isn't it? I got lost. Oh, no, we were just wandering around. I wasn't lost. I am lost now, but I wasn't then. Hello, Nikki. How are you? Yeah, oh my god, Hyper. I've been in the same boat. Yeah, Brian. I have some plans for Miguel. I think the VR is going to make it even more fun because I don't know the game, right? Like, I don't actually know what I'm doing when it comes to 7 Days to Die, obviously. Yes! Netherite upgrade. We've done it. That's all I was trying to get is this thing. That's all I was trying to get. Ooh, let's take these gold blocks anyway. We can use gold. We can always use some gold. Get rid of the gilded. Because we're going to need it for the netherite anyway. Okay, now the question is, how the heck do we get back to our base without dying in the process? We did it. We did a thing. We did do a thing. Oh, crap. Okay. So it's going to be this direction. I think it's going to be safer if we just head back to like 0, 0, because right around there is where my original portal was. And so I think it'll be better if we head to 0, 0 and catch that portal and then take the map or the ice highway to my base and then move forward from there. Yeah, there is ray tracing. It's just really light. That's cool. I don't mind that at all. Anyways, with Skyrim, I did a bunch of mods and I had the same problem. I wanted just one mod and everything was like, oh, you need this other mod to make that one work. And now you need this other mod to make that second one work. And I ended up having to add like 10 mods. And by the time I was done modding it, I was like, I don't even want to play this game anymore. I don't even want to play Skyrim anymore because I just have to mod it 5 billion times. And in the end, it didn't even make the game like amazing to look at. So I was like, it's not... Stop hitting me, dude. It just wasn't worth the work. Bethesda really phoned it in when it came to the VR versions of those games, and it was really disappointing. Mind you, when I played them originally on the PS VR, the first one, I was very impressed at the time because it was my first real experience in VR. It was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. Now that I've played some VR that actually does VR properly, it's garbage. It's so garbage. But yes, Brian, I am planning to do some stuff with Miguel. I feel like VR for Miguel would be so much funnier. Oh god, a ghast is gonna kill me, isn't it? A ghast is gonna kill me. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be a bad situation. Why can't I? There we go. Yeah, we win. So that's the whole thing. Now that this VR mod is out. Oh god, where are you? Is there a gas around? Okay, no, we're good. Now that this VR mod is out. Oh god, please, please, not in the lava, please, 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 please. And because I don't know the game, like I was already kind of panicky, especially when I found out it was a condor. I thought it was a chicken. I genuinely thought it was a chicken. I thought that like the chickens would randomly be zombied and like that's what would attack you, is just a random chicken. But I found out it's not. So I was already panicked with that happening. I think it would be even funnier to do it in VR because I don't know what I'm doing. And because of Miguel, the character that I've made, I feel like it would just be perfect for Miguel to be trying to survive in full-blown VR. It would just be too good. It would just be way too good. So that's my plan, to play and experience it in VR and see what happens. You know what I mean? I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun. It is. It's spooky and it's very challenging, obviously, because it's obviously not an indie game, but it's a smaller company game. Like it's an indie game. It's an indie game. It's just a bigger than what you normally would think of when you think of indie, is what I'm trying to say. But like it's still not a AAA game, and so like it's got some jank to how it like lets you figure out what to do. It's not as like clear cut. Not that it's like broken or bad. It's just it's not as well defined of like, oh, this is how you get this exact thing that you're looking for. And so it's panic inducing when you're trying to figure out what to do and you're trying to oh crap. Nope. Okay. Whew. When you're trying to figure out what to do and you're on a tight timer of like you have 7 days before everything falls apart, so it makes for a very, very fun situation to be stuck in, and I feel like VR would just add to it. So I'm very excited about that. I think the benefit I have, because whoa, I was talking. See, this is the problem. Lava doesn't light up. That's what's weird about this mod pack, this VR thing, this ray tracing thing. Anyways, but I was told by Girl Thulu that she was very impressed. I impressed Girl Thulu. Yeah, that's right. Be jealous of me. That she was impressed that I survived for 2 hours without dying. The only reason that is I have played a lot of survival games over the last year in private. I don't play them on stream ever, but I've played a lot of survival games, and I've played Green Hell, which is not objectively, questionably, I guess. Questionably one of the, not questionably, I don't know. I guess questionably, I don't know. But it's one of the hardest survival games around. Well-made survival games around. Oh, crap! Oh, I survived it. Oh my god, I survived that. Oh my god, how did I survive that? I almost fell in lava, too. That was so close. Ouch. Oh god, I'm not gonna survive after that, though. Okay, 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 okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. No panic. No panic. We only lost one heart. I'm okay with that. Get out of here, you stupid skeleton. I don't need you. Anyways, so I have some experience in survival games because I've played one of the hardest survival games. That's the only reason I survived as long as I did. But I think I've kind of reached the limit of how much I can do based on prior experience. Now it's going to be all the failures of trying to figure out how to actually do anything in the game. And I think just VR would just make it that much more fun. So my plan right now is to do the same kind of thing where like Miguel is doing it all. I'm going to set up my green screen so that way you can see what I'm doing in VR and have it set up. I have to figure out, I have an app that allows me to see chat like on my wrist in the game, in VR. So I have to set that up. But once I set all that up, I think it's going to be really fun to see me in VR panicking. Because apparently you can like do melee attacks and stuff physically. I'm gonna have to be really careful. I'm not gonna use my, like, normally I go wireless and I like turn my head and stuff. I'm not gonna do that. I'm literally gonna be standing in one place because my room is just slightly too small and I'll end up like punching the TV or punching the desk, and that's not fun. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Zalexi, hello. Phasmophobia is coming to Xbox. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. My brother and I have spoken. We want to do Phasmophobia in VR. We're both planning to get the PSVR 2, and he was saying he wants to do Phas, and I want to do Phas in VR. I've heard it's gotten a lot better. I played it when it like initially was hot. I've heard there's been a lot of updates. I don't know if they've added a bunch of new places. Uh-oh. Oh crap. I can't see because of the fire. I think I want to grab the other ray tracing pack. I think I want to grab the other ray tracing pack. I think maybe I'll grab Kelly's RTX pack. Am I going the right way? No, I'm going the wrong way. It's this way. I think I might have to grab the other one because this is just, everything looks really dull. And like all this should be lit up because like that's supposed to glow, and so is the lava, and like there's supposed to be a bunch of stuff glowing, and none of it is glowing in this version. So let's just do this just so I don't die. Just because if I load and like a mob happens to spawn and kill me, I don't want that to happen. So let's do that. Let's save and quit. Let's get Kelly's ray tracing. What video card does your laptop come with, Hyper? Your dog's watching? Hello, doggy. Hello. I'm not good with dogs. Not that I'm bad with them. I don't know. It's like with kids. I look at them and I'm like, hello, baby. How's the weather outside? That's so awkward. A 3060. Oh, okay. But that comes with 8 gigs, doesn't it? That comes with 8 gigs? Okay. Okay. The thing is, I don't remember what the other one is called. I don't remember what the other one's called. I want to say I don't know if the mobile version might come with less, but I'm pretty sure the regular 3060 comes with 8 gigs of RAM, and that's what the 3070 comes with. I was just watching a video actually. The that, nope, that's not what I want. That's just telling me that 1.2 is supported, but where is the download link? Oh, there it is. I was just watching a video yesterday about how there's not enough VRAM on video cards and blah, 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 and like everybody's losing their minds about it and whatever. And I feel like a part of it is just sensationalized. I don't feel it's... We almost need a backstory for Miguel. Oh, Brian, I have some plans. I have some plans. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. How many people are watching? 4 and 4, so 8. So not many, so it's not going to be a huge spoiler for everybody. So my plan is to actually have Miguel almost have like his own little series on the channel. Do you know what I mean? Like I do these streams where I chat and it's easy going and it's fun and it's not... Well, my camera's really low for some reason. There we go. I had to like... I Mickey Moused my camera together. It's basically I have a boom arm and I lost the actual part that connects to the camera, and so I took apart one of my other boom arms, or not boom arms but my regular booms, and I've like jerry-rigged a way for it to connect to the camera, but because of it it's slightly loose, so like you can see here how it like, look how it jiggles. No matter what I do, I can't tighten it, and so it slightly jiggles and then it moves as I like turn the camera on and stuff, and then I sit down and I realize I'm like cutting half my head off, so I apologize for that. Anyways, so the plan is... Oh, it only has 4 gigs. Okay, yeah. See, I didn't know if the mobile one did or didn't. I'll get right back to the camera conversation, or the video card conversation. Give me a sec. So my plan is to start like a little mini series that's going to be its own thing, where kind of like if you watch the AVGN and he's got his angry video game nerd videos, but then he's got like regular stuff as just James. So I'm gonna have all my regular stuff, my like documentary style, fun facts and all that, and regular streams where we just chill and talk. But my plan is to actually do like a mini series, a comedy mini series, where I... Okay, let's turn on Kelly's ray tracing. I know this one works. This one does have a couple of weird things that it does. I have another one that works better, but I don't remember what it's called right now. It's on my streaming PC, and I don't want to mess with that right now and crash everything by accident. And so I want to do a whole series where I have Miguel playing these survival games as like the full-blown character, and like make him be put in these random situations, kind of like how I have this character, or like, you know, the Hey Retro, like I've got those characters, right? I want to have him have his own series where he plays these games and have him be put into situations. And I have somebody that I want to work with, like I'm going to work with my brother, and we have a plan for what he's going to be doing, and it's just going to be the shenanigans we get into as these characters. So it's not going to be a let's play per se, it's going to be more like close to, if you've ever watched, because you have kids, if they've ever watched any of the Minecraft creators that are out there, see, look how it glows. This is how ray tracing should look. See, and then it's darker over here, but then you go out here and look how it glows. This is how it's supposed to look. Anyways, how like there's Minecraft creators out there that'll create like a whole story around playing Minecraft. So it's like, my daughter watches a lot of AFMAO, and AFMAO will literally be like, today everyone wants to marry me, and then it's like a whole thing about everybody wanting to marry her. I want to do something that's similar to that, in the sense of like, it's a full made up character, and we're gonna have like some overarching theme, and then it's just us trying to survive the game. And as we've seen, Miguel is very overconfident. He thinks he knows everything about everything, and so kind of put him in these situations, and obviously it's going to be my actual gameplay, so I'm going to suck at it and have Miguel react to whatever sucky thing I'm doing. That's kind of the plan for it. And so like that will involve, you know, Miguel having somewhat of a backstory, or having some kind of information involved, or like some kind of plot involved in whatever I'm recording. So like there's a lot that I'm working on that I'm hoping will lead to some decent content, and that'll give me an idea for like offline stuff that I can do for like longer form videos on YouTube. More than anything, it's going to be for YouTube, because, oh crap, right now I don't really have anything long form for YouTube. I'm enjoying the fun facts, but I don't want to make like a half-an-hour video on like gaming facts, because one, a lot of them have been done, and two, it's a lot of extra work. Like the last one that I did that was 10 minutes was like 8 to 12 hours of work, and I think it's still sitting at less than 5,000 views. Like it's a lot of work for very little turnout. At least with like the sketch style stuff, it's a lot less work and it's a lot more fun to do. And so if it doesn't get a lot of views, it doesn't feel like I wasted my time. You know what I mean? That's all for now. Hello, my day's going really well. How are you doing? It works fine till you try to run big VR. Yeah. So back to the VR thing and the video card thing, Hyper. There's this whole thing that's going on right now that a lot of tech channels are talking about how video cards do not have enough VRAM. And objectively, they don't. Most games now, like most modern games now, will be requiring like 12 gigs of VRAM. And the channel I was watching yesterday was trying to... They used a kind of a clickbaity title, being like, is the VRAM situation fixed? Basically saying that a lot of games are now being optimized to work with less VRAM to help the situation that's going on, because some of them are being coded in a way where whatever it loads on the VRAM kind of just stays there, and so it fills up the VRAM, and it's only getting rid of the old stuff as it fills in the new stuff. And so they're like they're optimizing it now where it's culling a lot of the stuff that's not needed earlier on to allow the VRAM to have a bit more space, which allows the game to run better. And a lot of them are losing their minds because they're saying that the VRAM situation is bad. Like the 3070 is no longer prosumer level, I guess. Not prosumer, but like enthusiast level. It's now just like a beginner card because it's only got 8 gigs and that's not good enough, and you're not going to get any games to run on it and whatever. But then they're like running on ultra settings at 4K and expecting to get over 60 frames a second. But like at 4K with ultra settings at 60 frames a second, you're still getting a very good response out of the card. The guy even went so far to say that PlayStation 5 runs at a higher graphics setting and a smoother frame rate than a 3070 would run, which I think is just very disingenuous, because objectively the PlayStation does not run at the highest settings on any game. There are plenty of videos out there that compare the highest settings on PC to the highest settings on PSVR or on PlayStation, and there is a difference. Is it noticeable to most people? No, because you're not going to be zooming in, 400% to see the shadow resolution or the texture resolution of something that's on the other side of the level that you're on. But when you do that, you can see that the PC is definitely compiling a lot more than the PS5 is. So like a lot of these guys are making this a lot more sensationalized than it is. And I get it, they're trying to get views, and a big part of getting views is making things a lot worse than what they are. But it's convincing a lot of people who don't know much about hardware that their cards are now obsolete. That unless they're using a 4090, they're not even going to be able to game on it anymore, and that's just not the case. Like, I'm running a 3070. It's not a 3070 Super or anything, it's just a plain 3070. And I'm running ray tracing on Minecraft, and my monitor's at 1440p, and the stream is not a very good representation for you guys, because for some reason my capture card locks up and does not allow it to run at full speed. But I'm running at a very respectable, at least 60 frames a second. Minecraft obviously is not the most demanding game, but with ray tracing on it, it adds quite a bit of demand to the game. And it's running fine. I can run Elden Ring with everything turned on max at 1440p and not have any real problems, right? So they're sensationalizing it. That being said, I do think that we're going to be needing cards with more VRAM. I just don't think it's a problem that is an issue right this second. It's not something that right now, if you do not have a 4090, you're never going to be able to game. It's one of those that maybe in 4 years, this card will no longer be able to really run games at past medium settings. Why is my FOV so low? Because you don't need a high FOV for Minecraft, and Minecraft is not optimized for a high FOV, so once you do the high FOV, it actually adds a fisheye effect. You're hungry again? Oh, I don't know what to order. I don't know. I like Chinese food. I haven't had Chinese food in a while. Yeah, Liam, it's not, it is lower than it should be. I could go up a little bit higher. But it gets really, really nasty because this game is made up of voxels, which are basically just big blocks. There's a lot of straight edges, and so what's happening is the straight edges then start to curve, and then it looks like everything, not like the actual straight line is curving, but everything kind of leans outwards, so it looks like you're really tiny and everything is stretched really weird. It makes for a really weird perspective, and Minecraft is very, very obvious with it. I'll show you it once we find our way home. I'm kind of lost right now. Once we're out in the open and like back in my oh, I should probably do these so I can have a little bit of XP put back on my pickaxe because it's starting to die. Once you're out in the open and like in a place where you can really see it, it's kind of dark in the nether, so it's hard for me to do it here. I guess we could kind of show here. Let me see if I can show it. But it adds a really weird perspective. It makes it look really weird. Where's the... is it here? It's here, isn't it? Yeah, FOV. So like if I turn it up, most people run like 90, right? So like 90 is pretty average for a lot of people. And so like, look, notice how when I go up and down, look how it stretches the image. It almost looks like it's a piece of paper that's bending. It doesn't look natural. See how it like warps the image? So it makes it really hard to follow what I'm doing. Especially if you look up like right at the top edge, like right where this pillar is, right at the top. If you look when I'm turning, it just really, really warps how the image looks. So Minecraft is not a game where you want a high FOV. It's obviously, it comes in handy because you can see a lot more of the screen, but it makes you feel dizzy after playing for a prolonged time, especially when you're building and you're looking up and down a lot. I'll go to, I think it's 60 that it's normally at. Let's go 64. Whereas here, it's a lot less warped. Now it just kind of stays the same shape. Minecraft just isn't good for it because of the graphic style. Go, 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 go. Move, move, move. Ooh, what kind of ice cream, Merle? What kind of ice cream? Uh-oh! Oh, that was scary. That was scary. Chinese food is the best. There was a place back in my hometown that I grew up with, going to this same restaurant for my whole childhood since I got to Canada. And they closed down a couple of years ago. It was really like heartbreaking for a lot of us because it was a very famous Chinese food restaurant in my hometown. And they shut down. And they shut down because like their kid grew up there. Both their kids grew up there. But they weren't interested in running a restaurant. And the parents were getting older. You know, they were in their, I would say, late 50s, early 60s. They were done. They wanted to retire. And so they shut the place down. And it was really heartbreaking because they had some of the best Americanized Chinese food. It wasn't like full authentic Chinese cuisine. But it was so good. And they had certain things that we would order on a regular basis that no other Chinese place around me did right, if they did it at all. Most places didn't do it. And they didn't do it the way that this place did it, which was a thing called shrimp with lobster sauce, or lobster with shrimp sauce. I don't know, one of the two. And it's like this like brown, not thick, but like thicker liquid with shrimp in it. and almost like shredded up lobster. Anyways, we would order that all the time, and I've ordered from other places, and either it's been like creamy, or it's really watery. It's not good. And we were heartbroken because we're like, where are we ever going to get shrimp and lobster sauce again? Because now that they're closed, we're not going to get that from anywhere else. And then I moved out here, and there's a restaurant that does exactly the same recipes. Like all of them. I order my food. They even use the same takeout boxes as the other place did. Except this place charges more money, but they give you more food per order. So it's really nice. But I haven't ordered from them because it is expensive. Like when I order, it usually ends up costing me like $75. So it's got to be a real special occasion for it to be worthwhile. But oh, I love Chinese food. I love Chinese food. Ooh, strawberry cheesecake, Ben and Jerry's. I love cheesecake. Cheesecake is one of the greatest inventions ever. Ever. No, I have zero interest in Counter-Strike. I played Counter-Strike before it became CSGO. I played Counter-Strike when it was still just a mod. And I find those games immensely boring. Like, immensely boring. Not even... What the hell? Where'd you come from? Oh. Like, not even... Like, I do not see what the appeal is. I don't know why people find it so much fun. I think it is the biggest waste of time. So I have, like, less than 0% interest in that game. Even from what I've seen, it doesn't look impressive. Like, it doesn't look like something that I'm like, wow, this is going to be awesome. It looks like they just took something from, like, the late 90s graphic style to, like, the mid 2010s graphic style. Like, nothing that I've seen has made me go, this is definitely worth it. It's almost like what happened with, what the hell is that game called? The one with all the different champions, and it's a shooter. It almost looks like that, and between 1 and 2, where it's like, yeah, you can't really see the difference, and there's not really a reason for it to be updated. So, no interest at all. Geronimo! Overwatch, that's the one. And like Overwatch came out and everybody was kind of like, okay, we might as well just keep playing Overwatch 1. Like, it didn't really do anything when they released this whole new one. And so, like, I feel like Counter-Strike is kind of the same thing. It just feels lazy coming from Steam. Like, I feel like they could have, or Valve, I feel like they could have done something really cool, but like, stuff like, oh, the smoke reacts to you walking through it. It's like, Batman Arkham Asylum did something like that with their physics engine. Like, it's not really... It just feels really phoned in. On top of already being a really overdone genre that I frankly find dumb. So it's just not my cup of tea, so I'll never be playing that. A lot of people still do play it. I'm not saying my opinion is the right one. I'm not saying that, like, you know, that I'm above everybody. I understand it better, and it's not. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying I find it insanely boring. It's the same as sports, right? I find sports insanely boring, like mind-meltingly boring. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Alright, if you haven't been following me for the last little while with my Minecraft journey, we were 3,000 blocks... Was it this way? Yeah, 3,000 blocks that way. Or no, almost 3,000. 2,000 something blocks that way. Because I couldn't find a fortress. And in my whole journey, 2,000 blocks that way, I only ever found one bastion. I went on an adventure looking for a bastion, and we wandered around for over 2 hours the one day. Oh, crap, get out of here. Uh-oh. Okay. And we never found a bastion after wandering around for multiple hours. And I ended up lost, which is where I am right now. I'm lost. I have no idea where my actual portal is. So I'm just heading back to 0-0 in the hopes of finding my initial portal and then getting back to my base. And now we have found 2 additional bastions to the only other one that I found. Maybe we'll find another upgrade thing. Maybe. You love to watch, play, and talk about... Now, playing hockey is different. Playing sports is different because there's like a genuine difference in what happens, right? Because like you're physically involved in what's going on, so like your level of exhaustion, the time of day, all of that's going to affect how you play. So playing sports versus watching sports is very different. Very, very different. I think watching sports, if you don't play sports, is mind-meltingly numb. Even if you play them, watching them is very different than playing them. But like for me, I have zero effect on what's going on in the match. I have zero input in how it's being done. And it really breaks down to the same thing. A bunch of strangers do the exact same thing every single time. And then one wins or one loses, but it doesn't affect me in any way. So to me, that's just really, really, really boring. It's like watching somebody else do the stock market or watching somebody else gamble. You're just kind of sitting there going, okay, cool. I've never understood the whole gambling thing either. When like people are watching somebody else gamble and they get so excited, it's like, you don't get anything out of it. So like, where's the excitement? Why is that exciting? That's cool. They're going to lose all their money or they're going to get rich. Cool. Whereas like playing Apex and playing Call of Duty and CSGO, at least like you're involved in it. So I'll give it that. But on the other hand, with CSGO and all that, it's so quick in relation to like how much time you're going to watch it for. Like a match is not going to last 4 hours, right? Like you could see a baseball game that lasts 4 hours when it goes into overtime and all that. But like a CSGO match or Apex Legend match might last what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't feel invested in what's going on, right? And it happens so often that like it just blends in all into one thing. It's kind of like watching somebody play Minecraft. Watching me play, especially, I'm just wandering around. It just blends into like one long thing. It doesn't feel like you ever did anything. So it's kind of the same thing with watching like CS:GO and stuff. But with sports, watching sports to me is the dullest thing in the world. Now, obviously, because you play the sport, you can understand what the athlete is doing. You can see the different techniques and stuff that they're using and ways that they're weaker or stronger. Just like when I listen to music, I have a really strange way of listening to music. I don't listen to music very often, but I'm a musician and I've been a musician most of my life. So when I listen to music, I actually I can't hear lyrics. It's really frustrating talking to Alana about music because all she listens to is lyrics and I don't listen to lyrics at all. So she'll like mention a song to me and I have no idea what she's talking about because I don't know what the lyrics say. Because I don't listen to lyrics. I don't hear the lyrics. I hear the tune, the melody that they're singing, but I don't actually hear what they're saying. But when I listen to music, what my brain does is I actually hear all the instruments, not just like the music. I hear like the individual instruments. And so I can tell the difference between like different styles of recording. I can tell the difference when I'm listening to somebody live versus a backing track. I can tell when somebody's genuinely singing or isn't. And so like all these things I can hear that the average person won't. And the average person wouldn't have interest in listening to songs the way that I do or talking about what I talk about with music. Because for most people, listening to music is about enjoyment. For me, the enjoyment is the skill involved in the music. And so it's kind of the same with sports. If you play sports, you have a very different level of appreciation for the sport you're watching. Whereas like for me, because I only see it as a bunch of mostly guys, a bunch of guys showing how tough they are, to me, it has zero interest, like zero interest. It's just not my thing. Just not my thing at all. And that's kind of that's pretty much what it boils down to when it comes to games like CSGO and all this stuff is you get all these people basically doing like my junk is bigger than yours. Like that's what it breaks down to. And I have zero interest in that in any aspect of my life. And so competitive anything is like the most mind-meltingly boring thing in my book. That's why I can't get into any of them. Unless it's really introducing something new that like makes me go, huh, that looks pretty cool. Like I did play Apex for a while. I played Fortnite for a while. I prefer Apex to Fortnite. But they introduced a different level of stuff that you could do versus literally just shooting at each other until you're all dead. It just, no interest. No interest in that. You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's it, Liam. Like, I grew up, I'm Canadian, right? Hockey is like the one thing here. It's kind of like the States with football. Hockey is like the thing. Most of my friends played hockey growing up. I didn't. My parents, I was an immigrant. I am an immigrant. My parents were immigrants. But back home, there's no hockey, so they weren't interested in having me play hockey. My mom hated sports because her dad was obsessed, my grandfather was obsessed with soccer. And my mom hated it because she connected soccer with him drinking, and so she hated it. My dad was, you know, raised alone. He was never much into sports either. So we were never really exposed to it, and being immigrants, hockey just was not even in our radar. So my friends all played hockey. I never did. So I was never super inclined into sports, which this will lead back as to why I'm not into like the whole competitive who's better aspect of everything. Because I was never into that growing up, I was never good at it. Because I was never good at it, I always lost. And so I internalized the inability to play these games. It turned into one of those, like, I realized that I was going to be bad no matter what, and it didn't actually reflect anything in my life, that it became meaningless. So then all competition became very meaningless to me because of that specific thing is I was never really good at anything. So it just never became valuable to me to be better than somebody else at anything competitive. There are aspects of my life where I like to be better than other people. When it comes to like my lighting, I like my lighting to be the best possible. I want my audio to be the best possible. If I audition for something, I want to beat everybody out around me. But that's not head-to-head competition. That's just being compared to somebody else. But because in competition, I was never a standout because it just wasn't part of my life. Like my parents being immigrants, all they were trying to do was just survive. And we were so insanely poor. We were never part of any kind of extracurricular stuff. Competition was just not part of my life. So I grew up with the mentality of like competition because of the way I have learned about how people think. I know it's not stupid to other people, but the way I look at it, I don't get it. So in a way, it seems stupid to me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that it actually is, but like to me, I just don't get why people are so hung up on competition. And so when I see something like Call of Duty, CSGO, all that, I just don't get it. And so it's like, yeah, I get the rush when I win. I'm like, yeah, I won. Oh my God. Like there's been a couple of times. I think I won one Fortnite match. Usually I would rank at like the top 10 when I first start, and then it like lowered, and then eventually I won one time, and it was just sheer luck. I won a couple of matches in PUBG Mobile. In my defense, it was in the game's defense, it was mobile. And I won a couple of Apex Legends matches. But like outside of that, I don't have that drive to be like, no, I got to try again so I can win again. Or like once I've lost, I'm like, okay. Once I've lost a couple of times, I'm like, okay, I did it. No big deal. I got to move on. I just don't get the drive in competition at all. Or like the attraction people have in watching other people compete. It's just never been intriguing to me. Oops, wrong button. Ban all sports. I've said it. I've decided sports are a waste of time. We should all spend all of our time playing Minecraft. Clearly a good way to spend your time. Clearly a very, very, oh crap, I can't think of the word. The joke is dead. I forgot the word. I was gonna say like something that pays you back for doing it. You know what I mean? Clearly I'm a very good judge of what you should spend your time on, because being a 37-year-old man playing Minecraft, the epitome of the most ideal way to spend your time. Oh, man. Yeah, I understand that. My opinion might change because I'm only 16, but we'll see. No, Liam, honestly, there's nothing wrong with being into sports. I have friends that are still into sports. They don't do it as much anymore because as you get older, your body kind of falls apart. I'm at that point now where, like, even like, for me, like I said, I wasn't into sports, but I was a musician. For me, my hands don't do what they used to do, and it really sucks because, you know, I used to do 4-hour gigs with my band, and now, like, I'm lucky if I can get through 3 songs with the bass without my hand just completely cramping up. Which really sucks. Obviously, if I practiced a lot more, I would kind of get back into it, but there's a certain limitation on how much your body can do as you get older. With sports, it's far, far more accentuated. With music, obviously, it's not using as many, like, physical attributes as sports would. With sports, like, once your knees start to go, your knees start to go. It doesn't matter how fit you are. If your knees are in trouble, you're not going to be able to just suddenly start playing hockey again with bad knees and play like you did when you were 20 or whatever, right? But that doesn't mean the passion goes away, because I have friends that, you know, they played hockey their whole childhood and they played fairly competitively into like their early 20s, and they still love it and they still play for fun. They do pickup games and stuff. But they don't put as much weight on it as they used to. They don't get like as aggressively sorry, I'm like burping. They don't get as aggressively competitive as they used to, but they're still just as passionate about it. And there's nothing wrong with that, like I said. It's just I grew up in a household where sports were not even on the radar, and being competitive just didn't bring me anything. Like there was no positive feeling with competition for me. So because there was no positive feeling, there was nothing for me to enjoy out of it. It's like theater is a really good example that I can lean into a bit, that I understand a lot more. I act. I went to school for theater. I learned to professionally act. And I was half decent at it when I was doing it. Crap. Oh, okay. Whew, you scared me, dude. I was half decent at it. But a lot of people would see me acting and they'd be like, how could you do that? Like, how do you enjoy getting in front of a bunch of people and doing something like that? I don't understand how that's fun. But I was good at it. So what made it fun for me was the reaction people gave me, right? Like I would do a show and I'd get standing ovations. I would do a show and I'd walk out after getting out of makeup and stuff, and people would run up and want my autograph or take pictures with me. So I had that positive reinforcement to my acting, whereas somebody else may have gotten laughed at when they got on stage. And so to them, it's a negative experience going on stage and embarrassing yourself. Whereas for me, like I go above and beyond to embarrass myself, and I'm completely comfortable with it. I did a video a while back. It's pinned in my TikTok that got quite a few views, and a part of it was me having my gut sticking out and peanut butter on my face. And there's a lot of comments from people going like, bro, that's so cringe, or like, that's so disgusting, man. Because they're looking at it in the mindset of like being worried about being seen as maybe not cool, but like being acceptable. Whereas like for me, if it's gonna get a laugh out of people, I genuinely do not mind embarrassing myself. Because in the end, you're a stranger and I'm a stranger to you. What I think or what I do has zero effect on your life, right? Like what I'm doing with my life has zero to do with your life. The only effect I have on your life is that you might be entertained by what I'm doing. You might enjoy chatting with me. But the truth is, if I were, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but if I were to die tomorrow, you might feel a little sad going, oh, that person that I spoke to died. But like 3 days later, you wouldn't even think about me, right? Like I have zero effect on you. So if I embarrass myself, what's the big deal? I embarrass myself in front of somebody that has zero effect on my life, right? I think a lot of people kind of forget that when it comes to things like acting and comedy and all that. Is like, it doesn't really matter how lame you think I am or whatever. Because the truth is, I'll probably never see you and you'll probably never have an effect on my life, right? Oh, I almost walked off the edge. But I learned that at a very young age that I'm a neurospicy, as some people say, and I had to learn to be likable for people to even accept being around me. Plus, being an immigrant automatically kind of made me an outcast. So I had to learn to be likable, and I learned very quickly that if I embarrass myself to get a good laugh out of somebody, they're more likely to accept me than if I'm really busy trying to be cool and then they laugh at me. At least if they laughed at me because I made a joke, it was under my own control. So it's kind of the same thing with sports, right? Like if you're good at sports, if you enjoy sports and you have a positive reaction to sports, it's a lot easier to really appreciate sports and enjoy sports and become passionate about it. I didn't have any of that exposure, so to me, sports are just a waste of time in my life. Like I said, I get why other people really enjoy them, and I'm not saying that sports are stupid. We all need something to keep us busy. We all need something to enjoy. Just sports happens to not be that for me. And that's why I listen to this guy. But that's it, right? We've all got different experiences and different exposures as we grow up, and they'll affect how we see things, right? And so I think a lot of people forget that, right? Like I've had this, there's so many random portals in this place. I've had this conversation before where like I'll have people that'll make fun of me because I play video games as a grown adult. But when you really break it down to the most basic elements, how is me playing video games any different than somebody playing sports? Right? Especially people who just watch sports and don't even play it. Like there's a lot of people that will make football almost a religion. Like they have to root for their team, and they will genuinely hate somebody for liking a different team than the one that they like. Which to me sounds really stupid, right? Like you dislike somebody just because they don't like the same group of strangers that you like. It sounds really dumb to me. Yet, all of them will very quickly agree on the fact that my hobby is stupid, while theirs is justifiable. But my hobby actually involves me physically doing something. Now, this is talking about people who watch sports, not play sports. My hobby physically reacts to my actions, right? Like I'm playing a video game. What I decide to do in the game will affect the outcome of whatever's happening in the game. But watching, the Cowboys play or whatever, you screaming at the TV or you not screaming at the TV has zero impact on the outcome of the game. You watching or not watching, zero impact. You wearing a jersey or not wearing a jersey, painting your face while you're in the audience, zero impact on the game. But my hobby is seen as stupid and their hobby is seen as acceptable for an adult, right? So it's kind of the same situation of like, it's just that you aren't accustomed to that, but it doesn't mean that my hobby is any better than or worse than yours, right? It's just that double standard. So it's kind of that. It all depends on what you experienced or what you saw growing up, right? I just wasn't exposed to sports. It wasn't something that was interesting to me. Being in a band wasn't something that was like, it's a very common dream for people to be in a band. Growing up in Canada, a lot of my friends were in rock bands. But like being in a Latin band, zero interest to most people. If anything, musicians might be interested in Latin music because they're interested in like music overall and they think it's really cool to try different genres and stuff, but they don't necessarily have an interest in Latin music. Whereas for me, I only have an interest in Latin music. I was even talking to my brother about it, that it really sucks that I still want to play in a band, but I can't because all that's around me is rock bands or like jazz bands, and I want to play Latin music and they don't really exist around me, so it kind of sucks. But it's all based on exposure, right? We're getting close. Gotta be somewhere here. Yeah, like the overall energy for the event. Yeah, you're right. For the event, the overall excitement of the audience can definitely have an impact. So you're definitely right there. I think I was just imagining more like the person at home more than anything. You know, sitting on their TV, on their butt, eating a bag of chips with their gut sticking out, with their face painted and yelling and screaming. And it's just like they threw a Super Bowl party, but that had zero impact on the actual Super Bowl. That's what I was imagining when I was saying that. But yeah, no, in the audience, 100%. As a theater actor, I can totally attest to how the audience can impact your own performance, whether it's in sports or in like singing or whatever. Because God, I've done shows where not a single person has laughed, and it really sucks to try to be funny when nobody's laughing. I'm sure it really sucks to try to like win a match when you've got no audience there cheering for you, even if you're playing your best. Yeah, no, you're right on that one. Keep the nerves cool and it's fine. There's also, when it comes to like home ice advantage, now correct me if I'm wrong, but there's also like, there will be little idiosyncrasies based on the field or the ice rink you're playing on or whatever, depending on the sport obviously, that you learn based on your home field. You know what I mean? Like based on where you normally... Oh, what the hell? I'm so disoriented. Okay, not this way. This way. Based on where you're playing, there are going to be like little things that you're going to know about your field or your ice rink that when you're in a stranger's ice rink, you don't know those things. Crap. Ah! Stupid lava. And so having your own field to work on can definitely be a tangible advantage. You played Lost Boy in Peter Pan. That's awesome. I've never done Peter Pan. Now I'm too old to do Peter Pan, but unless I did Hook, I would love Hook the musical. I could play Peter Pan then. The old guy who forgets he's Peter Pan. But yeah, it's every little place has its own slight differences. It's like I've done shows on multiple stages, and there are some stages that I feel far more comfortable on because I know the little like quirks of that stage. I know the little like things you look out for, or the things that you kind of let you know where you are standing. Do you know what I mean? Because like, oh, this stage has like a divot in this one section. You want to make sure you never stand in this one spot because the lighting is bad here or whatever. So I'm sure it's the same with sports, like playing on certain fields. You know that like the grass might be a little bit denser in certain areas, so you want to avoid certain things in that area, or like you know that the grass is get out of here. The grass will react in different climates. Like if it's raining, you know it's going to be slightly different because of just the shape of the area you're in. Not so much the field itself, but like if the land overall tends to be just slightly different, it shifts differently based on what weather it is. Are you... Oh my god, now I'm even more mad. So the whole time we were looking for bastions, right? Or we were looking for a thing. Look, I'm at 300 and 400, and this is where there was a nether fortress. I went 3,000 blocks for a frickin' nether fortress. There was one 300 blocks away. I wouldn't have had to build that other fortress, or that other base, had I known this existed. Okay, let's just move. I don't want to get attacked. I'm gonna get attacked. I don't want to, though. I'm out of energy. Let me in. Let me in. Okay, I think we're safe. Let's eat. This game doesn't like me. I don't think it's that it doesn't like me. I think I'm just an idiot. I think I'm just an idiot. Mind you, this is like on an angle from my base. Because I've got to walk... Nope. I've got to walk this way and that way. So like it's on a 45-degree angle from where I originally portaled from. And I headed in a straight line. I went north, south, east, and west in straight lines looking for it. So I just walked by it. I was just over in one direction too much. So it's me. How is life without school? It's got its benefits. It's got its drawbacks. Being an adult is awesome. For a big chunk of it, okay. There's this idea, and I had it for a really long time, that when you reach like 18, between 18 to 25, you're going to be an adult and it's all figured out and that's going to be your life. I didn't actually start to think maturely until a couple years ago, really. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk it. Should we? Yeah, we're going to risk it. I'm going to just build and hope we can make it. Oh, it's such a... No, you know what? Now that I've eaten, I'm going to go through the fortress. I didn't start thinking maturely as I play Minecraft until recently, like 2 years ago, maybe. And when I say maturely, I mean in the sense of like, I really don't worry so much about a lot of things that I used to worry about. You know what I mean? When you're younger, you're really worried about being cool or being seen as cool. You know what I mean? Oh crap, get out of here. Get out of here. Oh god, they're gonna kill me. Oh god. Oh, thank you for putting me over here. Go, 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 go. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I knew it, and I lost everything, including the stupid thing. 300 to 400. 300 to 400. 300 to 400. Well, we made it back to the base, but 300 to 400. We could do this. We could do this. We could do this. Backups I don't think I have here. I don't think I have backup stuff. It's okay. We'll head back to the regular place. You hate school? Look, school isn't for everybody. 100%. School is not for everybody. Take advantage of what you can, because we do live in a world where having schooling is more of a benefit than it is a detriment. Although it is a financial detriment, because you can get yourself into some pretty big debt for school and then end up not even using it, which kind of sucks. But there are going to be more opportunities with education than there are without. That being said, if you don't go through education, it's not like when I grew up, we were always told if you don't go to school, you're going to end up working at McDonald's the rest of your life for minimum wage and you'll never have a life. That's not true. The job I'm doing now technically doesn't require any education. Like I went to college and everything. My job doesn't require any education, and what I trained for in college gets paid less than what I'm getting paid now. So there are benefits. There are options out there. It's a less glamorous job, and it's a much more physically demanding job than what I had before. So school isn't for everybody. That's all for now said. Absolutely. It adds a lot of structure to your life. There's a lot of pressure put on you from school, which is like really stupid pressure. Things that don't really mean anything, like tests. They put a lot of pressure on you for tests, and tests really don't do what they say they do. It's a very old school way of thinking, because you could be very, very good at taking tests, but be a complete moron in the field you're testing in. You know what I mean? I went to school with a couple of girls who were as dumb as potatoes. Like they were the dumbest people I've ever met in my life, and they are now nurses because they passed their tests, because they did well in testing. But they're idiots. I would never even let them take my own blood pressure, let alone trust them to actually administer medications. They were morons. Yet they're nurses because they're good at testing. So testing does not actually mean anything. But it's kind of how the system works. There are also people who are very, very, very bad at testing, but are super smart and are great and know all the knowledge and can deal with, you know, whatever it is that the job would be. But you put a test in front of them and they panic and they don't know how to deal with it. So schooling in general can be kind of rough. And there's the social aspect of schooling that is very stupid, but that's more human nature, teenagers, stuff like that. Because I was worried about a lot of really stupid things when I was a teenager. About like making sure I wore the right brand of clothing, making sure I listened to the right kind of music, making sure I didn't say anything that might embarrass me or the people around me. I had to always be cool. And that's a lot of really unnecessary pressure. It's a lot of really stupid pressure, and it can lead to a lot of mental health issues, depression, stuff like that. Okay, 120. Okay. 300, 400, right? I don't remember if it was 300, 400, or 400, 300. I think it was 300. Oh, crap. Go this way. And because you're surrounded by a bunch of other teenagers in school, you kind of think that that's how life is always going to be, that you always have to act a certain way to be accepted and to be respected and to be to fit in, I guess. It can make you very blind to realize that there are people that you might have hobbies that nobody else in your school likes, but there are other people that have that exact same hobby as you. They're just not immediately around you. But school can make it very hard to see that. School can also make you make really stupid decisions because, again, you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are also not very experienced in the world, but they act like they are. They act like they know everything. Why can't I hit? What's going on? I can't hit him. I can't hit him. Oh, my mouse is freaking out. Oh, my mouse is freaking out. Okay. Nope. It doesn't pause. Oh, God. Okay. Go, 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 go. There are so many of these stupid pigs. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm just gonna get somewhere, not safe, but like somewhere where I'm not gonna die immediately. Okay, change mice. Okay. Okay, the mouse finally crapped out on me. The mouse finally crapped out on me. That's okay. Yeah, like everybody's forced into school to some degree. Everybody is... crap, I don't even know what to do now. I don't have food. I didn't come prepared for this. And the truth is, you're going to make a lot of friends in school, especially in early school, high school, elementary school, stuff like that, that are only your friends because they're around you. They're convenient friends. It's not really that they're people that you may actually like. You learn to like them and you learn to deal with them, which is a good thing. You have to learn how to deal with people that may not always be your cup of tea. And school is good for that. But like, you might be surrounded by people that you wouldn't otherwise want to hang out with. But because, you know, you've got a class of 30, those are the only people that are in your life. So you're going to learn to be friends with them and stuff. So school definitely has some drawbacks. That being said, adulthood has a lot of drawbacks too. There is nowhere to meet new people, which really sucks. You're surrounded at work by people who you might absolutely detest being around. I work by myself because I hated the people I worked with. That's not like the reason I left my job. I left my job for many, many other reasons. Crap. But I worked at a place where I was surrounded by a bunch of like really undereducated people. Like severely undereducated people. And it was really frustrating for me to deal with them because they would say a lot of really ignorant things. And because I worked with them, it very much became I was lumped into the same ignorance that they were. Crap. And so it was very embarrassing to work there, if that makes sense. Crap, I might have lost everything. Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good. Okay. Well, I don't really have anything else here. Do I have anything to eat? I don't even have anything to eat. Oh, let's head back to the first base. Yeah, for those it doesn't affect, it's bliss. Plus, like, there's a lot of... Here's something that a lot of people believe, which is 100% BS. It's 100% stupid. I'm on the PS4 now. I'm on PS4. I made it. Yeah, that was the coffee mouse, Hyper. That was the coffee mouse. I did. Oh, I did, Merle. Oh, well. I have to get armor and everything anyway. And I have to head to this place, but I left my boat. Oh, well. Anyways, something that a lot of people try to convince you of when you're younger, and it's 100% not true, and you get it the most in, like, the least skill required jobs. So, like, a lot of minimum wage jobs really push this, and it's 100% not even how it works. Because, like, when I worked at places like Walmart or, like, a grocery store, it was always about be professional. Professionalism, dress professional, act professional. And then I did something like I sold cars where, like, you're dealing with people's money, thousands of dollars worth, and you're swearing and you're talking vulgar and like you're being immature. I worked in healthcare where like you're making dirty jokes and stuff. Not with the patients obviously, but like with your coworkers. Like it's not as uptight as people try to make it seem. And adults are exactly like teenagers in the aspect of like gossip and shit talking. That never goes away. It is insanely immature, and adults are just as bad as teenagers are. So this whole idea that like gossip and everything is a teenager thing, it's not. Adults are just as bad. And in some aspects, it's more pathetic that adults do it, because we've got a hell of a lot of bigger issues than like me painting my nails. You know what I mean? I had a guy recently comment on one of my videos about me painting my nails. Dude was like in his 40s. You know, I'm pretty close to that too. Dude was like in his 40s, was still dressed like he was in high school in 2005. And he was worried about what I was doing with my nails. Like, is that how pathetic your life is, that you need to worry about what somebody on the internet's doing? Like, dude, I don't even know you. What do you care what I'm doing with my nails, right? So like adults are just as pathetic when it comes to like gossip and stuff. And like I said, it's more pathetic that adults do it because it has no effect on them, right? Look at all these tea channels on YouTube. Like people dismiss them like they're a bunch of teenagers, but most of them are like 25 years old. And you're worried about like what so-and-so said in the makeup industry. Like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. So like as you grow up, just remember that people don't ever really grow up. So you're going to deal with it your whole life. And as an adult, it's a lot harder to deal with. Because as a teenager, you can find a group of friends that you like, but like you might end up working in a workplace where all of them are like that and you don't want to deal with any of them, but it's your livelihood, so you can't just walk away, which really sucks. Or you might get bullied and you can't turn to an adult and talk to them about it because you're at a workplace. It kind of sucks. Those parts about being an adult suck. Responsibility as an adult sucks. Like, I have certain things I have to do throughout the day. God damn it. So slow. There are certain things that I have to do as an adult throughout the day that I wish I didn't have to do, but I have to. Or like bills that I have to pay that I wish I didn't have to, but I have to, which really sucks. That part of being an adult can really suck. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But trust me, even people my age, they're still not much better. They're still not much better. It's really like, it's frustrating. I worked at a place. You're hungry. Yeah. I worked in a hospital, and it was a lot of women. Oh my God, why did you all have to spawn here? I'm gonna die. It was a lot of women. And I'm not saying this in the sense of like women are gossipy. I just mean it was a lot of women because it leads to the story in the sense of like there weren't a lot of men for them to talk to. And there was one woman, oh my God. There was one woman who was really attracted to me. And I was not in the slightest attracted to her. And she was really, really pushy about going on a date with me, and I didn't want to go on a date with her. And I turned her down. I rejected her. And because I rejected her and all the other women at the hospital started to really, really come after me. With the whole thing of like, why won't I date her? And it got to the point where they went out of their way to get me fired. Or trying to get me fired. I ended up quitting because I couldn't handle the situation. They were trying to get me fired because I wouldn't go out with this woman who oh shit. Because I wouldn't go out with this woman who I had zero interest in, and she acted like I was being mean to her because I wouldn't date her. And it turned into high school where they were all gossiping. And at first it was all like, so-and-so likes you, right? Like, she wants to go out with you. You should go on a date with her. And it's just like, I'm a grown-ass adult, right? Like, if I don't like her, I don't like her. What do you want me to do about it? I don't want to go out with somebody. I'm not going to go out with them. And we should be adult enough to know that I don't... If I don't like you, why would you want to go out with me? Why would you want to go out with somebody who doesn't want to be with you? You know what I mean? And like that was really frustrating to deal with. And eventually they pushed me out. They made it impossible because like for lunch, they would sit together and kind of exclude me the whole time. Not only that, but they would then gossip about me. They would laugh when I was in the room, and it just became very uncomfortable for me. And so I ended up having to leave because I was like, I don't want to be surrounded by these people all day long, which is something you deal with in high school, right? So like adults never grow up, and it's really, really frustrating sometimes. Now, all that negativity aside, there's a lot of cool stuff about being an adult. I've got a bunch of cool garbage behind me, because it's garbage, right? It's a bunch of plastic toys and video games and stuff. None of it is really valuable in any way. But I got to buy all the stuff that I wanted as a kid that I couldn't have. I want to buy the PSVR 2, and there's nobody to yell at me for it. I mean, if you're married, you'll probably get yelled at when like the kid needs new underwear and you're buying a PlayStation. But overall, like I can spend my money in stupid ways if I want to, and the only one that's going to deal with the repercussions is me. You know, I drive a car that I like. I dress however I want without really having to worry about it, although I do like fashion, so I'm hoping to start dressing better soon. I can go to bed whenever I want. I can get up whenever I want. When I open the fridge, here's like a little detail that has been amazing for me. You open the fridge and there's food that you like in the fridge because it's your groceries that you bought, right? I went back to live with my parents years ago, and I hated it because they bought their groceries, and there was no space for my own groceries, so I would eat a lot of fast food. But I'd open the fridge sometimes because I didn't want fast food, and it would be a bunch of stuff that they wanted to eat and stuff that I don't like. And they'd be like, there's food in the fridge, go cook something. And it's like, it's stuff you like. I don't like any of this stuff. That little detail is huge. It's really nice. Or like if you have a pile of dishes, no one's going to be there yelling at you unless you're married to somebody who is like that, which I've been in that situation and it kind of sucks. But like, if I don't want to do the dishes, I don't have to. If I don't want to do my laundry, I don't have to. Like that stuff is really cool about being grown up. That stuff's really cool. Yeah, that's all for now. That's a big thing. The emotional maturity is a huge issue. Chibi, hello, nice to see you. Welcome. Adulting is hard, but stuff you can buy is fun. Absolutely. And yes, Merle, I made a bunch of helmets. For some reason, I connected pushing shift, and then the build as like it would just send the helmet down to there. It didn't clue in that it would make as many helmets as possible. Yeah. Thank you for the like, Liam. Yeah, and I think a big issue society in general is having, and I think we are going backwards in this, and I feel bad for, you know, Gen Z and younger, because it's only going to get worse for you all. We live in a world that social media is very good at creating echo tunnels or whatever they're called. Where you're surrounded by the same people that think the same things you do. And you're never challenged, and you're never able to grow up. And the younger generations are far more perpetually online than the older generations are. And so, like, there's a lot of really, really internet-only takes that a lot of younger generations are starting to think are how the whole world works, and it's not how the world works. And so, like, it leads to a lot of kind of dumb understandings of things, and that's really dangerous, and it devolves people into being emotionally immature. Like there's this really stupid belief overall on the internet, but right now this exact example pertains to younger people for sure, where like I get a lot of people that will say something insulting to me. They'll make fun of me in some way, and they'll come. Oh my God. They'll respond to me basically by saying, "Oh, so you're making fun of kids, or you're fighting with kids, you're attacking a kid." Freddie, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate that. They'll literally come back at me with, "You are fighting. You're picking on a kid." except they're like 21 years old, so they're not really kids. They're adults. And they're the ones that attacked me, but they don't like it when I stand up for myself and come back at them with the same heat. They instantly resort to, oh, you're like a 40-year-old guy fighting with a kid. That's not how the world works, honey. You're not going to start an argument with somebody at work or in the middle of the street. And then be able to turn around and be like, well, I'm just a kid. Don't fight with me. You're 50 and I'm 40. Don't do that. That's not how it works. That's not how the real world works at all. You might think you are just a child, but you came in like you were a grown-ass adult. You don't like it when you're being held responsible like a grown-ass adult. That's on you. That's not on everybody else. And that's very much how the world is devolving right now. And I'm not saying everybody that's younger acts that way. It's just there's a lot of them like that online, particularly. And that very quickly turns into an emotional immaturity that is not healthy. And it's going to bleed into the real world, which it has a lot already. You have a lot of really ignorant people saying really stupid things thanks to the internet because they think the whole world thinks like they do because they're in an echo chamber. That's the word I was looking for. They're in an echo chamber and they genuinely believe that the rest of the world sees it the way they do. And that's not the case most of the time. And so like it's very scary to see that the world is going that way, and emotional maturity is really becoming a thing of the past. It's really not something that you're going to see very often anymore. And so it leads to very scary situations. Very scary situations. Kids become way older than cats. Oh man. I couldn't see who that was, but thank you. I picked up a bunch of wood. Did I pick up anything else? I didn't pick up any of my other stuff. Yeah. Guys like Andrew Tate they're leaning into that specific factor even heavier because, you know, there are issues out there, don't get me wrong, but it's a much deeper issue than like guys are being mistreated. That's not exactly what's happening. Andrew Tate leans into the whole like women treat men badly and men aren't allowed to stand up for themselves, and that's not what's happening at all. That's not even remotely what's happening. What's happening is that we do live in a world where toxic masculinity has really affected a huge group of people. And that huge group of people are all being affected in different ways, but we all have to work together to fix the situation that we're in. And guys like Andrew Tate are going out of their way to make you believe that, not you, but like make guys believe that they are indeed the victim of this. And they're not the only victim, right? And his whole ideal of like men are getting treated badly, so you have to be an alpha and you have to put yourself in like a powerful position and women should be subservient and blah, blah, blah is the stupidest take, because that's not what's going to help. That's not going to make them feel any better, because he's using the whole ideal of men feeling lonely as like a carrot on a stick to convince these young kids that like if they take control of their lives and become these manly men, they're all of a sudden not going to be lonely, and that's not what's going to happen at all. That's not going to help them feel less lonely, because most women are going to be appalled by being treated as things rather than people. But Andrew Tate is appealing to a bunch of 16-year-olds whose brains are completely underdeveloped. And because they're underdeveloped, they're incapable of being able to understand how the world functions and to see how their perception of life is not accurate in any way. They're unable to realize that what they are experiencing has nothing to do with women trying to put them down and has everything to do with the society that they're in being a toxic society. And so like Andrew Tate is probably one of the most disgusting human beings on the planet. And he knows he is, which is why he always plays the victim, because he knows he's disgusting in what he's doing. But if he's the victim, then you can't judge him, because how dare you judge a victim and blame the victim, because victim blaming is bad. And I don't mean that as in victim blaming like isn't bad. I mean it in the sense of like he's using something that is actually an issue to be an excuse for his disgusting behavior. And so like he's objectively one of the most disgusting human beings out there. And he's brainwashing a lot of kids because they get stuck in that echo chamber, because they are surrounded by a bunch of other kids who don't know any better. It's very easy to believe that the whole world thinks that way, and they don't. But one by one, he is convincing people of that. And they are young enough that they will grow up thinking that, and then they will impact the world into believing that too. Because it's not just a bunch of like incels in their basement. Those incels in their basement will eventually become grown-ass adults in the business world who will influence the world. That's where the danger lies. That's where the problem is. And the only solution is to figure out what has made these guys feel disenfranchised and address that situation. But there are a lot of situations that are built into that, and Andrew Tate is making it seem very black and white and like it's a simple answer, and it's not. But human nature is you want the simple answer. You don't want the complicated answer. You don't want to deal with the super in-depth way of fixing things. Get out of here, dudes. You know what I mean? It's pretty scary. Oh god, I'm gonna die. Oh god. I got trapped. I was reading chat and I got trapped in a corner. But yeah, social media is probably one of the worst things to happen to humanity in the recent past. Obviously, there are a lot of bad things that have happened to humanity, but as far as like changes that impact life, you know, like using fossil fuels was a big one, because we've effectively changed our planet and we're killing it. The dealing with like having movie stars and superstars was another really horrible thing for humanity. Because we've now created these unattainable expectations of what it is to be admired in the world. Crap, I didn't bring a pickaxe. And now social media is the latest thing that is just making the world a worse place. Because it's all about money. Money is by far the driver of all of it. And the truth is that social media platforms are only going to do whatever affects their bottom line, which is money. So censorship and stuff happens because of money. Freedom of expression happens because of money. You know, you have places like Twitter that have become a hellscape in misinformation and toxicity because Elon Musk is leaning into supporting people around him who have told him that that's what they want. And I saw this great take recently that talks about how Elon Musk went from being kind of centrist to being a complete far-right extreme moron. And it has to do... Oh my god. And it has to do with... I can't even get back to my original base. This is the worst part. I can't even get back to my original base. And it has to do with the fact that he's rich. Like, that's really what it breaks down to, is that he's rich. Because he's rich, the richest man on the planet, he is surrounded by a bunch of people who will say yes to whatever he says. Whether it's a stupid idea or a smart idea, they're going to say yes to him. And when you are surrounded by a bunch of people that just agree with everything you say, it's very hard to recalculate your own perspective. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you say something stupid among your buddies, they're going to call you out on it for being stupid. Now, is that always accurate? Not always. Because, you know, I grew up in like the time when like being any kind of feminine feature, I guess would be the right word. I don't know if feature is the right word, but like having any kind of feminine trait is seen as a bad thing. So you'd get made fun of for it, right? And so I grew up in that era when that was very, very common. And so I my friends obviously contributed to that toxic mentality. And it's not a good thing, obviously. But overall, we're able to kind of check ourselves as we progress in time and have our friends kind of check our really dumb ideas or toxic ideas or whatever, which keeps us in a somewhat reasonable mindset. Elon Musk, on the other hand, is so rich that everybody just wants his money. And so they're going to agree with whatever he says because he gives them money or is willing to pay for their stuff or whatever. And so in turn, he can fall deeper and deeper into stupid mentality with nobody questioning him about it. And so he can become more toxic and no one's ever going to agree with him or disagree with him. And so he believes that the whole world is seeing what he sees and that it's just a small group that is outcrying what he is doing or saying. And because he's surrounded by a bunch of people that just agree with him, he thinks that he is smarter than everybody around him, when he objectively is one of the stupidest billionaires on the planet. He is objectively a successful moron. And so, like, it's not a good thing because he's stuck in his own echo chamber. And I don't think it's all due to his own doing. I think a big portion of it is he legitimately cannot see how blind he is to everybody sucking up to him. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a weird balance. It's a weird balance. All right, see you later, Liam. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you being here. It's a weird balance because, like, if you're too reliant on everybody around you, you will very quickly not be able to think for yourself and can get sucked into some really bad places. Gang activity, there's a lot more to gang activity, but like gang activity is a big part of it, is wanting to be accepted and being part of something. So then you kind of just give in and do what they say, and then your morality changes based on that. Obviously, there's a lot more to it. You know, having financial issues, living in a neighborhood that may not have the best support systems, all of that can play, it does play into it. But a part of it is that wanting to be a part of something, being accepted by people, so you kind of just give in. But then being alone also has the same issue, which still leads into wanting to be accepted, because a lot of these extreme ideas that people have, a lot of these people that end up going overboard, and I'm not saying like slight edgy thoughts or slight edgy things that you say or do. I'm talking about like the really extreme guys, like that guy that was in Toronto with the van. I don't remember what his name was, or the really, really cringy incel dude. I don't even remember his name, damn. But he did a whole bunch of videos about how, like, he's a true gentleman, and look at the way I dress, and these girls go for chads, and they're jerks, but I dress with class. This garbage dude. He was so alone that the only place he found any kind of acceptance was in forums filled with people that were also so alone. But in forums, what ends up happening, online, what ends up happening is there's a persona, right? Like, I am not this person you're watching right now. You can get some kind of idea of how I am in real life by watching me, but it's not 100% accurate to who I am as a person. And, oh my God, this music's so loud. And sure, you can, like, grasp roughly what I think and how I behave, but you're not going to fully get who I am based online. But I also try to be as genuine as possible in front of the camera. Whereas when you're in a forum, when you're faceless, you can put on a whole fake personality and pretend like you're something that you're not, to be accepted or to be looked up at or like be admired in some way. But what happens is another guy who is also feeling lonely and doesn't feel like he's good enough, or girl, also puts on that fake personality. So then the third person comes in and goes, oh, they're both like that. Then that must be how the world functions. And so it almost accentuates it to the point where they truly start to believe the things that they put on at first. And then they convince other people of those things being authentic when they're not. And then it just snowballs and goes out of control. The amount of people that will comment something hateful on my account and always be from a hidden account And it's because, one, they are cowards to say what they are saying to me because they know it's not acceptable. And two, it's easier to say something when you're hidden because you could put on whatever persona you want and act like you are better, smarter, more successful than the person you're putting down. And most of the time, they're not better, smarter, or more successful than the person they are putting down. That's not always the case, but most of the time. And so online, the social needs of people online becomes so much more dangerous and so much more precarious to kind of balance out. And the sad part is that social media is making it so we are lonelier overall, which is going to make that problem even worse. And it is making it worse. Because social media makes us lonelier even though it's connecting us more. And so it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. Yeah, that's all for now, exactly. But Elon doesn't, and because Elon is so rich, he doesn't ever have to experience the outcome of what he's doing, right? He destroys a company, and he's still a billionaire. He doesn't care. There's a theory, a prediction, a conspiracy, and it has happened multiple times in the past, so it does have some weight to it, but I'm not going to say that it's exactly what's happening. But it is very common that somebody who is an idiot at running a company, once they start burning the company to the ground, they will usually put somebody else in charge and allow them to kind of take the responsibility for the failure. And most of the time, it tends to be a woman that they will put in charge. Now, I genuinely don't think they do it in the sense of like, oh, it's a woman and we're going to blame women because women are easy to blame. I think part of it is just subconscious. They're doing it without even realizing they're doing it. But I also think it just happens to be one of those things where it's a lot easier to put a woman in place because there is... women have to work so much harder to get to the higher spot because of the way society works, that when you are offered a very high position, it's easier to accept it as a woman because like you've worked so hard to be there that it's almost easier to not to fool yourself that you earned it, but like a woman has had to work twice as hard as a guy to get to the same level as the guy, that when something is offered to them, even if it is a really bad situation, it's harder to see how bad it is because you've busted your butt to get there. And so like you do earn that position, but you're being offered the worst position rather than the good position. Crap, I hit the mouse and I don't know now which way I'm going. I think it's this way. So Elon apparently has handed the reins over of Twitter to a woman. And a lot of people are like, he's doing it because Twitter is dead and he no longer wants to be the one to have to deal with the repercussions of Twitter being dead. So he's handing it over to a woman, and then it'll be she burnt it down and it died because of her. But in the end, like, he's going to ruin her life and he's going to ruin all the employees of Twitter's lives, which he already has done for a lot of them. Okay, we're here. I am in so much trouble right now. And Elon is still a billionaire. So Elon, although he has ruined all these lives and his decisions directly have been the reason for it, he's still fine. So he doesn't realize how much of an impact his decisions have made. He knows they've made an impact, but it's very easy to think it's maybe not fake, but it just doesn't feel real when you're so powerful. And so it's easy for Elon to dismiss any concerns anybody has because, hell, it didn't affect him that bad, so it can't be that bad of an issue. It's the same human nature that a lot of us have, that a lot of people aren't concerned with situations that have nothing to do with them, right? Kind of going back to what you just said about the only thing you're entitled to in life is experience of life, not anyone's time or lives or whatever. And for the most part, yeah, I agree. You know, you're not really entitled to anything, but I do think that, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but to clarify a bit more, I do think that we all do have the right to have things like enjoyment, to have peace in our lives, to be able to live a decent life and have an opportunity for a decent life, where a lot of people believe that, no, that's up to you to do. You don't deserve that, but you can have that. Whereas I think everybody deserves to have a happy life, a peaceful life, and a stress-free in the sense of like not having to worry about the roof over your head and the food in your stomach. But we live in a world that unfortunately that's not really the case. But I think a lot of the rich in our world tend to think that because they don't have those issues, that nobody else has those issues, or like the level of issue that they have, they think everybody's issue is the same way. You know what I mean? Like when a billionaire loses a couple $1 million, yeah, it hurts. But they look at that and go, yeah, it hurts, but I've still got my fancy house, my car, and blah, blah, blah. So then they equate to when somebody who works a full-time job at an okay range loses a few $1,000s there, they look at it as, well, yeah, but they're still fine. Except they don't realize that that person is literally living paycheck to paycheck. So like that extra couple $100s that they've now lost is the difference between having a house and not having a house. The billionaire can't connect with that. Unfortunately, the billionaires run our world. And then you have a bunch of scam artists that are feeding into that whole notion and taking advantage of a bunch of people who don't know any better. Crap, what do I want to do? I want to buy armor. Let's buy armor. And you have a guy like what's his name? Andrew Tate, who convinces a bunch of kids that he's this ultra successful millionaire playboy. And I mean, he is now, but the only reason he is now is because he's a grifter and was able to fool enough people into making him that. But when he started it, he wasn't that. And the only reason he's a multimillionaire is because he's a grifter, not because he's actually a good businessman or because of any of the things he says being legitimate advice. It's because he tricked everybody into thinking that. There's this guy on stream, tying it back to what I do. There's this guy who does streaming advice, and his whole thing is that he can help you and you pay him monthly and he's going to help you become this like ultra streamer and he knows all the advice and blah, blah, blah. And then somebody called him on it and basically said like, bro, you say you're this amazing streamer, yet you average 10 viewers per stream. And his response, I kid you not, was that's because I don't want to be a streamer. It's because I don't want to be famous. I don't want more than 10 viewers per my stream. Except anybody with even the slightest semblance of, I don't know, comprehension would realize that if you want your business to grow, one of the smartest things you could do is have a huge audience, right? Like if you have a stream that averages 30 to 40 people per stream, 50 to 60, 100 people per stream, those are all people that you can potentially bring into your business plan of hiring you. So why wouldn't you want your stream to be successful? Unless you're legitimately a grifter and don't know what you're talking about and you're just selling a dream. And that's what's going to make you successful, is the dream, not the actual skill that you have, which is exactly what this guy is doing, right? If you're going to pay somebody, here's a piece of advice for everybody, and it's free. You don't have to sign up for a monthly plan. If somebody is asking you to sign up for a plan for advice, for tutoring as a streamer, unless they are physically doing something for you, don't sign up. Everything they're going to tell you is free online. You can find all of it for free online. There are plenty of people like me, like Night Owl, Harris Heller, which has kind of fallen off now. It doesn't always have the best takes, but even he gives free advice. What's that one guy's name? He's the Asian guy with long hair. Nutty, I think is his name. That guy. There's another guy. Crap, I want to say his name starts with an E. He's got a big afro. He's got a bit of a gap in the front of his teeth. He does a lot of really great advice. They all do it for free. You can find all the advice for free. Don't sign up to a tutoring thing and pay for them, because they're grifters, unless they are physically doing something for you. Like if you are going to be sending them thumbnails and they're going to give you like direct pointers on how to fix what's wrong with your thumbnail. If you're going to send them out your clips that you're going to edit up, and then they're going to give you how you could adjust the clips, like they're actually giving you something tangible in return, then sure, pay them. But if it's for like online courses and stuff, don't pay them. The whole way they're getting rich, the success they're getting is from the sale of the course, not the actual advice they're giving you, because they don't actually know what they're doing. And that's how guys like Andrew Tate became famous, is by grifting everybody. And the grift is what made them rich. And then they say, no, it's not that made me rich. It's my awesome business sense. It's how great my advice is. Except you weren't rich before you started this grift. That's when you got rich. Sure, you put in some money in renting cars and stuff, or you might have had mom and dad who were rich and gave you money. But your business savvy is only as far as the grift you ran, not the actual businesses you're giving people advice on, because the advice you're giving is very generic advice that's not actually very good advice. And it's the same with the streamer guy who goes on and on about how like he's only a small time streamer because he wants to be a small time streamer. He wants to concentrate more on training people. Bro, you better be editing my clips for me or making my thumbnails for me if I'm going to be paying you monthly for the advice that I could get for free by just spending a few minutes on YouTube. But sadly, a lot of people fall for it. They fall for that hype and they genuinely believe that these people are good at what they do. And social media is to blame for all of that, because these guys genuinely convince people that that is what's happening, and it's really not. It's disheartening. It's really disheartening. Yeah, he took fake it till you make it and ran with it. Exactly. And that's what this other guy is doing, the streaming guy, going back to, you know, what I talk about. When my friend called him out, now I didn't bother calling him out because it's just not worth the effort with this guy, because he is a full-blown grifter. I ended up having to block him because his grift is just so disgusting. He's a full-blown grifter. There is nothing positive to say about this guy. His video quality is really nice, and the advice he's giving, sure, it's advice, I guess. Like, that's the most I can say, is that it's advice. You know what? I'm gonna go to bed here, and then that way if I die, I can come right back. It's advice, sure. You know, like, he's giving you advice about, like, set up a schedule, look at your analytics, make sure your audio is good. Like, dude, that's really basic streamer 101 advice. And they're like, I post the same basic advice too, but I do it for free because it is basic 101 advice. You're not giving us any special insight. You're not giving us any, like, give us lessons on how to actually read the analytics. You know what I mean? And honestly, for one-on-one tutoring that I'd be paying for, read my analytics for me and show me what they are. Teach me that way. You know, by legitimately going, okay, see how here this video did well up until the 15-second mark. I watched the video. This is what happened at that 15-second mark. This is how you can change the video, so that way it's going to continue that attraction after the 15-second mark. Not just read your analytics and based on where the video dropped off, that's what you need to work on. Cool, but why am I paying you $10 an hour to do that when I can watch it for free on TikTok? And they'll say the exact same thing you're saying. Right? But that's how these grifters work. That's how this guy works. That's what he does. And then he acts completely offended when somebody calls him out for what he is doing. And because he's a grifter, his fans aren't like you are with me. Like, you're not my fan. You're just somebody watching my stream. So if I do something scummy, if I do something gross, you'll either stop watching me or you will call me out on it. But because his whole thing relies on grifting, his fans are fans, and they will defend him tooth and nail, and they will be so offended for him, even though they're the ones being taken advantage of. And if anything, they should be upset with him for taking advantage of them. But he has them so grifted that they won't. And he can get away with it, and he'll continue to get away with it. And I guarantee you, he's going to make good money doing it. And it's really sad because it gives all of us a bad name. All of us. It's like how there are so many women that stream and they do exactly what I'm doing. They do it better than I do. But there are those few women who will be objectively horrible humans. But every woman is now bulked in with them because those few women who have done some, you know, toxic things or scummy things have been the ones that have kind of blown up because of their toxic traits. If a guy did it, it would be just as toxic, but they happen to be women doing it. So all women are now lumped into having easy mode or not having to actually be streamers to be successful. When the truth is that most of the women that I've run into who stream work a hell of a lot harder than I do. They know a hell of a lot more than I do. They're a hell of a lot smarter than I am. Yet a lot of them end up having as much success as me or less, almost out of spite. because a lot of people believe that these women are playing on easy mode and they won't want to support them just based on that fact. Fact used loosely there. When the truth is that they're working just as hard as I am, or harder, most of the time harder, and they won't have the same outcome I would, just because people believe this really dumb idea. But it's how social media tends to work, is we see one example and we think all of it is like that. So this guy who's a grifter is making everybody believe that he's this amazing stream guru, and the sad part is people are going to believe him. And people are going to make him be successful because of it. And then when they find out he's a grifter, they're going to think we're all grifters because of him, even though none of us are doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? Everybody's just watching me be a failure as a streamer. It's the fun part. It's the fun part. They're not my fans. You're all here to watch me be tortured. That's what it is. Oh my god, this song's so loud every time. Okay. So at 123. I spent emeralds to get diamonds back. Whoops. You know what the really sad part is? I don't actually remember where I died now. Like, I don't remember what biome I was in. Crap, this isn't good. But yeah, and back to everything, the whole point of everything, social media is going to be very, very dangerous. And I feel really bad for everybody that's growing up right now. The young kids and the teenagers who are becoming adults right now, because they're going to deal with a lot of things I never had to worry about. Even now we're seeing it. Whoa! Even now we're seeing it with the example of, I grew up and I did a bunch of embarrassing stuff. I did really stupid things. I did things that were 100% not socially acceptable. Things that were objectively wrong now that weren't back then. You know, things that I'm not proud of. But there's no footage of it. There's no proof of it. And in a way, I'm undeservedly lucky, because I will never have to have a video of me at 13 years old saying something objectively horrible, because there is no video of me doing that. Not because I'm better than the kids that are around now who are doing that, but because the technology didn't exist to videotape me doing it. And I did do stupid things like that, right? I've said horrible, horrible things growing up, because I didn't know any better, because I lived in a world where that wasn't a big deal. I'm not saying that it was right. It just wasn't a big deal to have horrible takes. Oh, Schatzmella. That's kind of kinky. That's kind of kinky. Not my kink, but hey, man, to each their own. But, you know, I'm sure there are things that I have said now as a streamer that in 20 years are going to be seen as objectively horrible. And hopefully I won't be so old that I'll not learn from it. Hopefully I will learn from it. I don't know. But I'm thankfully part of a generation that grew up when that wasn't a risk for me, right? Or like if I got bullied as a kid, I would go home and the bullying was done. Whereas like now you go home and the bullying is just as consistent, because social media connects you to the people around you, whether you're home or at school or wherever you are. Social media has really, it's really making life hard for a lot of people. I feel sorry for all the youngins out there, because holy crap, like seriously. I'm going to turn this thing off. I want less spawning. Okay, it's gone. Okay, did I die in the fortress? Is that what happened? Did I die in the fortress, or did I get out of the fortress? I can't remember. I want to say I died in the fortress, but where? Where in the fortress? Oh god, I'm going to die again in the fortress. I want to say I was trying to escape the fortress when I died. Oh, there's the diamonds right there, right there. Go, 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 go. Run, 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 run. he's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me. He's so gonna kill me. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, that work for nothing. All that work for nothing. Okay, but now I know where it is. Now I know where it is. Ricky, hello. Nice to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my gosh, this is bad. This is so bad. Okay, I still got emeralds though, so I can buy more armor. Oh, God. I'm so upset. I'm so upset. At least we don't have to travel through all the nether again. 300 to 400 isn't too bad. You know what the downside to not Miguel for my stream? We just had a really, really, like, in-depth talk. This does 6. This does 9. We're doing 9. Whoops, we're doing 9 for sure. Okay. So we got the pickaxe and we got that. Now let's get some armor. I preferred... I don't mind in-depth talks, but it's definitely less heavy when we're Miguel and we're worried about the chickens coming to kill us. It's a lot less heavy of a conversation for sure. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, you're asleep. Wake up! Give me armor. Oh, I gotta go pick up Nora in 5 minutes. Okay, this is the last attempt. And then hopefully we can save it. If we don't save it, hopefully it'll still be around when we come back next time. I'm gonna try to get the VR thing set up, so for next stream we'll do VR 7 Days to Die. Hopefully. Hopefully. Oh, you can find your stuff on the radar in 7 days? Ah, that would be so much easier. That'd be so much easier. Okay, let's not lose the emeralds. Let's take some food. Oh, I need a shield. I lost my other shield. Dang it. Come on, shield. Do I have any actual wood? I don't have enough wood for a shield, do I? How many is that? 3. That should be enough. It's the last attempt. Last attempt. Wood. Shield. Alright. Here we go. Hopefully we can do this nice and quick. I don't have shoes, which is probably not a good thing. But let's do it. Last try. Last try. I just want the stupid armor thing. I just want the stupid armor thing. So 7 days, it's like Dark Souls style. 1 death. And then another run's all gone. That's okay. That's okay. Hopefully we can get my stuff back from 7 Days to Die. From when I died last. Yeah, this one... So I'm confused with Minecraft. So from my understanding from the last time we had this conversation, when you die, you drop your stuff. And there's a timer on the stuff. And when you like mine something or you throw something away, there's also a timer on the stuff, not this way. So that way and this way? Okay. But I don't know how much the timer is. My understanding is it was 5 minutes, but the last time that I lost stuff, it's actually that same armor set that I'm gonna go find right now. I lost it and I went to go get it. Same thing happened now. I died, went to go get it, I died, and I gave up. And I spent a whole bunch of hours getting my villagers for this exact reason. Because I was like, you know what? If I keep dying, I might as well just have villagers so I can just buy replacement stuff. And then I don't have to stress out about it. Crap, this isn't where I want to go. And so I spent hours. Like, I'm talking like 6 hours getting my villagers all prepared for that. Crap. Dudes! This isn't good. This isn't good. Run, 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 run. Oh, I didn't grab food. Head back. I need food. Doing all that, and I even like set up my highway and everything. And in the process, I came down here to look for a fortress because I was like, you know, I've now set up the highway. I now have all this stuff. Let me go look for a fortress so I can set up my blaze farm. I'm talking like at least 8 hours of work, and my stuff was still around. So I don't really know how this works. I'm not gonna have time. I'm not gonna have time. It's already 2:18. I'm gonna have to try this again on the next time I play Minecraft. Because I'm hoping that on Tuesday, maybe tomorrow, if I'm not too tired, maybe tomorrow. It might not be at this time though. Maybe I'll play some 7 Days to Die tomorrow. But yeah, I was doing all that, and my stuff is still around, so I don't know how long it actually sticks around for. Hopefully this will still be around next time, because I'm gonna be really upset. I want that stupid armor thing. After all that work. After all that stupid work. No, so that's what happened with the other game. I died and I quit when I lost everything, because I lost it. I went to go get it. I lost it. I went to go get it. And I lost it the third time, and that's when I was like, screw it, I'm done. I'm not even gonna try anymore. Now I'm just mad, and I quit. I completely quit the game. And then that's when I came back the next time, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna spend time doing the villagers and whatever. I'm not gonna go for that stuff anymore. I'm just gonna. It's gone now. It's done. So I went and spent time doing the villagers, and then I found it. So that's why I'm confused as to what happens. So we'll see. I have no idea, unless it's different between Java and Bedrock. Maybe Java does it that way and Bedrock doesn't, and maybe that's what the rules are, is the Java does it with 5 minutes or whatever. And then Bedrock is a lot more lenient. But again, I don't know, because I know there are certain rules. Oh, a summer event in 2D. I know there are certain rules that Java has that Bedrock doesn't, like mob caps and stuff. There are certain mob caps in Java that work differently in Bedrock. I know Bedrock has a much lower mob cap, but Bedrock also has like a non-aggressive mobs and aggressive mobs, and they have 2 different caps, and Java has 2 different caps, but I think Bedrock, the caps interfere with each other, but there is no cap on how many like pigs and cows and stuff you can have at the same level as Java. I don't know. It's weird. There's like slight changes between each one that affect things differently. It also affects how mechanics work, and so it's really frustrating. But I think the respawn shield stuff, like the loot that you lose, I think also has a different set of rules, but I'm not too sure. Anyways, yeah, and even when you try to Google, sometimes it'll give you like a definitive answer, but it'll be Java, and most like deep Minecraft players play on Java. They don't play on Bedrock. Bedrock players tend to be the kids. Overall, I'm not saying all of them, because obviously I play Bedrock, but Bedrock tend to be the kids, and they tend to be the less dedicated Minecraft players, because Java has way more mod support. It has way more graphical supports. There's a whole bunch of things you can do with like skins and all that, so people tend to work with Java a lot more. Even the VR version of Java is so much better than the Bedrock's VR version, because the Bedrock one runs way smoother but is way more limited. The Java version runs way jankier but is way more VR based, so it works a lot nicer in VR. But yeah, whenever you Google something, almost always the answer is in Java, but it won't say that it's in Java. And then when you try to Google it in Bedrock, it's different. It's like finding how to make farms. You look for a farm build, and almost always it's a Java build. And you have to like specifically look for a Bedrock build to find if it works. And most of the time, the same farms don't work. They have to be slightly different on Bedrock, and they're never as good. They're never, ever as good. You'll see these ones that it's like, oh, a mob spawner with 1,000+ drops per hour. And then I do it, and I get like 200 drops in an hour because it's Bedrock, and the mob spawning is way different on Bedrock. It really sucks. It really, really sucks. Anyways, I got to get out of here. I will see you all maybe tomorrow. Don't hold your breath, but maybe. I'm really excited about 7 Days to Die, and if the VR works, I am even more excited, and maybe I'll do it tomorrow. If not, I'll definitely be back Thursday. If anything, maybe I'll be back tomorrow. Well, for Europe, it's going to be early in the morning, like in the middle of the night, like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. But maybe I'll do like an evening stream tomorrow, because it's hard for me, because tonight's a really late night. I won't be getting home till like 5 in the morning, so I'm not going to be willing to be up for 10 to do my stream. But maybe I'll do an evening stream. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But if not, I'll be back on Thursday for sure. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for being here and spending time with me. I really appreciate all the love and the support. TikTok, thank you for being here. Where's my TikTok stream? There it is. Thank you for being here, and I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye. And Twitch and YouTube, I appreciate all the love and the support. You guys are all awesome. Thank you so much for everything, and I will see you either tomorrow or the next day for sure. Have yourselves a great evening out in Europe, and have yourselves a great day here in the West. I'll see you later. Take care.